Once upon a time, there was a magical kingdom, a beloved destination for children of all ages, a place where happiness flourished. The caretaker of this park was a little fella who lived for fun and adventure. Unfortunately, not everyone shared his interests. There were those who favored sadness over joy, destruction over fun, and darkness over light. If the park could be turned to evil, it would be a powerful tool for the powers of darkness. As the malevolent magic spread throughout the kingdom, it was claimed as a playground for all that is bad. Returning it to its former days of fun and happiness would take a true hero.
Hey everybody, this is Kathy from Mouse Life.
And this is RJ from the Diz Explorers.
And this is Nick from Tom Morrow's Mouse. Now, all of our listeners are probably wondering what's going on right now and why the three of us from different podcasts are all on the same show. Well, we're all here because we love to play a game called Disney Magic Kingdoms, and we thought it would be fun to collaborate together, get together, talk about the game, and do this little crossover show for our listeners, give you a little bit about the game, some tips, some tricks, and maybe some previews about what might be coming in the game. So this isn't going to really a new show. It's not going to really be a regular weekly thing. It may not even be a monthly thing. It'll just kind of be when we feel like doing a new show and talking about the game. So let's get started.
Yes,
Kathy.
let's do. Yes.
I talk too much.
No.
Kathy.
That's why we have podcasts.
Yeah.
Right?
I haven't done one in like forever, and this is
It's
like
good to get back on the horse.
That's right.
shake off all the rust. You know?
Yeah, that's right.
You can't say you talk too much. Have you heard my podcast?
Well, for those of our listeners who haven't heard the Diz Explorers, go over there and check it out. Yeah, so let's get started. So I want to look, Kathy. Let's start kind of with you. When did you start the game? You know, so the game is available on obviously the Play Store for Android, and then the App Store on iOS. So anybody can play it. So how'd you get started?
I play on iPhone, so I play on iOS, and I started right after the game launched in March of 16. I don't think I started right on the first day, but it was maybe the first week, the first or second week. And I don't remember how I even came across it. I saw it probably on Twitter or something, and it just sort of piqued my interest because, of course, the one thing that we all have in common is that we're all huge Disney fans. And building your own Magic Kingdom just sounded like something that appealed to me. So, and you know, the graphics are really cute. You know, and I'm a girl, so I don't know what you guys' excuse is, but, you know, I'm a girl.
We're just stupid Disney fans. That's what our excuse is.
Pretty much.
You know, the open is so adorable, too. The very first thing when Mickey comes out and then he runs, you know. And of course, we never see that anymore. That's the very first thing you see when you first start the game. But, yeah, so I've been playing. I'm on I think if I remember right, 495th day. Which is kind of remarkable if you think about it. I've been playing this game for, 495 days. I wonder if they're going to do something really special when I hit 500.
No.
I'm hoping.
I'll let you know because I'll probably get there before you.
Yeah. I'm hoping for? You know what I want? I want gems.
You'll get
Give me gems. I need gems.
They'll give
Talk
you
about gems later.
We will talk about sort of the commerce, the economy of the game. But yeah, I collect gems as much as I can. And my thing about this game is that I have not spent any actual money. So you can play for free, and then they have certain things that you can actually spend money on for upgrades and things like that. And we'll get into that too. And my goal is not to spend a dime on this game, and I haven't. And I've gotten pretty far in doing that.
You've done real well.
You've done extremely
honestly.
well.
Thank you. Thank you. I know. The thing that came out today is like, the bundle that you saw, and you're like, oh, it's $10. I'm like, yeah, no. Looks great. Not doing it.
I'm tempted on that bundle. We'll explain the bundles and stuff later on. But I'm tempted, but I don't know. I mean, I've got enough gems that I could probably.
Yeah, but see, that's half your gems though. If you buy King Louis, that's half your gems, dude.
I know. I'm almost to 1,100. So if I can get to 1,500, then maybe I'll drop it on him.
Yeah.
But
all right, we're jumping ahead.
Okay, we're jumping ahead.
So so that's how I did. Yeah, that's how I came to the game. So there you go.
RJ, how about you?
Very similar. I think I definitely had heard about it on a Twitter platform, or I don't. Yeah, I know I heard about it before it launched, and I did start playing on the first day, but I am nowhere near 490. I'm in the 450s somewhere as far as how many days. So I've definitely missed quite a bit here and there. So, but I am progress-wise. I know we're not getting to that yet, but just because Kathy was talking about it and stuff, I'm just behind these two as far as characters and amounts of gems and magic, and we'll get into that later on. Doubling on what Kathy had said, the graphics are really great. I play on an iPhone as well, and I actually recently just started playing on my PC because I realized that they do have it for the PC. And bigger screen, looking at Disney stuff and building a Magic Kingdom is pretty awesome. So I never played Roller Coaster Tycoon when that game was popular, and I hear this, I guess, parallels that. I guess it's very similar to that platform, with a little bit of RP role-playing game, I think, thrown in because of the tasks and the certain things you have to do in a certain order, especially early on in the game. Yeah. Which we'll definitely get into later. Yeah, it definitely has me hooked. I know, at least on the iPhones, you can, which always makes me laugh and makes me cry at the same time. You can go in and check your usage, and it tells you what percentage of what things you're using. And it used to be Twitter was always the highest in like the 40% range. Yeah, the game has eclipsed that, and the number's embarrassing, so we're just going to leave it at that. Basically, I play the game more than the phone remains idle. Oh, Kathy, I'd like to see yours.
Yeah, I think it's bad. I didn't know that was something. I didn't know that I could do that. I don't know that I should. I don't think, you know what? Yeah, I'm not even gonna go there. I'm not even gonna go there. I know it's bad.
I'm on Android. I don't even know if I can. I don't want to.
I don't need to know.
You don't want to.
That's a need to know, and I don't need to know.
Right.
Yeah. So I guess the point of all this, I'll turn it back over to Nick, is it's very addictive. And once you get going with it, and after Nick gives himself a little introduction, and we'll explain how basic gameplay and stuff very quickly. I'm not sure how much of our audience is going to be new gamers or gamers who are as far along in the game as us, halfway in between. Whoever and whatever level you're at, thank you for any sort of listening. So we don't want to bore. We're going to try to find a fine line between people just starting out, people in the middle, and people about the same area as us. With that being said, how about you, Nick?
My turn? Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw it on Twitter, but I saw it before the launch. So I was ready to go on launch day, and I've literally played every day since day one. So I don't know what day. No, I just turned mine on to see if the thing would pop up, because it usually pops up at night. But I know I was somewhere around 480, 490, something like that. So it's been pretty much every day, which is kind of sickening.
I know.
Yeah, and I've got every character except for Syndrome, and we'll talk about those things later on. So I don't have Syndrome, and obviously I don't have the new ones that dropped today. But
give him a week, folks. He'll have them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Bagheera's been taking me forever.
Oh, he is taking forever.
I just started Bagheera today. I'm very discouraged that I'll ever get Bagheera.
Yeah, he'll be Halloween.
Yeah.
It'll be Halloween.
Christmas.
Yeah. So let me start with, let me go back to Kathy. I want to talk about a little bit about just the game and sort of, I don't even know where to begin, honestly. There's so many things that go on. But the characters, the whole premise, maybe a little bit of how Maleficent sort of cursed your kingdom, and you're back here trying to rebuild it and clear the curse.
Well, there you go. You just said it.
Pretty much. That's it, folks.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Done.
Nice talking to you. Yeah, well, when you very first start the game, and people who have started playing already know this, the Magic Kingdom itself has been overrun by an evil curse by Maleficent. And what you're doing is trying to clear the curse. And you welcome new characters, starting with Mickey, and then the second character you welcome is Goofy. And then they work together to try and clear the curse, and you're working with them, and they're also welcoming the visitors back into the kingdom. That's a big part of it. And so as you progress, as you welcome new characters and you do new tasks, you're able to sort of clear more space in the kingdom, and you're able to unlock buildings and rides, attractions, and things like that. So your goal is, presumably, I don't know that we ever will clear the entire curse, because there's still, after all the time we've been playing, there's still areas that are behind. Behind
not
curses.
At the rate they're going.
Yeah, right.
One of the pieces of the game.
There's not enough. Yeah, there's not enough land. There's not enough place to put all your stuff. Once you've been playing a while, you start collecting lots and lots of stuff. And that's one of the things too, is to welcome characters, and then you also start acquiring, concessions and attractions and things like that. And so you build your things, and then you go in every so often, and you basically, everything has a little check mark above it when it's ready to be sort of harvested. And when they're finished with a task, or when your attraction or your concession is ready to release its magic. And then I guess we can start getting into the sort of the economy of the game in a sec here too. But you sort of click on everything, and it releases all its magic. And then all of that helps you to open new areas and to clear the curse. So the whole idea is to clear this curse. And you go about that by continuing to do more tasks, and you get more and more tasks. It's a time management game, I think, is the way I heard it described.
Yeah,
and so
definitely.
There's a lot of, you'll get a task, and it's funny because when you do your very first one with Mickey, it's like a minute, right? It's like a really short, and you're like, oh, this is going to be great. You do your thing with Mickey, and then he runs off and he does his next thing, and then you welcome Goofy, and they do a thing, and it goes really fast. And then all of a sudden, whammo, you're hit with like your first 8-hour task. And you're like, holy crap, what am I going to do for 8 hours?
What do I do now? Right. So before you go any further, and the only reason I'm going to mention this is because since I started doing it again only about a week ago on my PC, as I said. So when the game first launched, it basically, the characters were the Fab Five, and that was really it. You didn't have anybody else, so you welcomed them kind of in order. You started with Mickey, like Kathy said. Goofy was almost an immediate add. Pluto was your first character you could buy, where you could buy him with real money or with gems, which is kind of a secondary currency of the game. For those of you, if you play the Tsum Tsum game, it's very similar to that as far as what you collect. You have, instead of coins, you have magic, which every building and flower and anything else you put in the game, as Kathy says, after a certain amount of time will give you magic. And that's your main currency. Your gems are your specialty currency, very similar to the Tsum Tsum game, where they don't come as often. They're very scarce. You need to save them for special things, mainly characters, unless you're insane like me and want to have all the buildings and you spent a lot of your gems on the weird rides and attractions, because you have to have everything. So anyway, point being, now when you start the game for the did you see why I have 6 other people on my show that have to wrangle me in? So when I just started this, you got Mickey, you got Goofy. Next in line is you have Woody come in, and that's who you welcome next. And then not too long after Woody, they want you to get the stuff for Prince Charming, which is next to impossible because you can only find those gloves in a treasure chest. And very early in the game, you're not privy to treasure chests yet because you have to work your way up to that. And then as well as Kathy was talking about with visitors. So visitors is kind of how your kingdom grows. You get the kids to come back in and ride the rides, visit concession stands, so on and so forth, and they create what's called happiness. This is what makes the curse go away. This is what makes Maleficent get mad and come back and progress in the game. So on top of doing tasks that you have to do to either A, level up your characters, B, welcome new characters and progress quests in the game, at certain times, the children of the kingdom are going to want what they call wishes. So they want to go and they want to see Mickey, whether they're getting an autograph from him or Goofy or see them do a dance or some silly task. You have to be able to maintain both things at the same time, because if you don't maintain happiness, and which is represented in the game by little yellow happy faces, and there's 4 stages of that, then visitors aren't going to come and your kingdom's not going to grow. It will eventually, because the game progresses on time-wise no matter what, but it's a much slower... You get better things as your happiness grows and you get more visitors in your kingdom.
And maintaining that happiness at the highest level also increases your chances of gaining the tokens that you're collecting to level up your characters or to welcome your characters. So every character has sort of a set number of tokens that they have to... And one token that they all have in common is an ear hat. And every ear is different. It's customized to each character, but you might need 20 of them, for a certain character.
Right.
And so you're happy. And if you keep that happiness level up at the very highest level, then your chance of that token dropping when you need it increases.
Yeah, it increases by about 10%. So,
10%,
over time, if you keep that happiness up, it's, this is one of our tips anyway. If you keep that happiness up, you're gonna do much better in the game, just having that extra 10% chance of getting those tokens.
Absolutely. And
to level up your characters.
Yeah.
So,
and it moves up in different increments as well. And when we all started playing a year and, a half ago or whenever it was, it was much harder to maintain it, because the only way you got those little happy tokens is from tasks through wishes that the visitors would want. Now, as the game has updated and feedback has come in and over time, now you get happiness almost every day if you collect the treasure chests around the kingdom. Any level of chest automatically always gives you at least 1 happiness. Sometimes a silver chest will give you 2. Gold will give you 3 or 5. Platinum will give you 10 or 20. I've gotten before in those. And that, depending on which level of happiness of the 4 stages you're on, is huge. Like the first one, I think every time you get a happy face, it's worth 6. So it gets to 100 very quickly. Then it goes to the second stage. I think that one gives you 2. The third one is the hardest one because it's equal to 1, and that takes forever to get to 100. Because the other thing to keep in mind, hope you're paying attention and writing this down, folks. Every time you're away from the game, your happiness drops. So if you play in the morning and you don't come back for 8 hours and don't play again, your happiness will have dropped so many. It depends on the level of. It's all related, I guess, to I'm sure there's some sort of algorithm, if that's the right word, to figure out how far it drops, but that's a little beyond what anybody really needs to know. And if somebody does figure it out, then you have a lot of free time on your hands, and you're very good at math.
But the point is, once you get that happiness up to that level, you have to keep working to maintain it. You have to keep collecting. You have to keep granting those wishes, and you have to keep doing the treasure chests. And I get a video almost every single time with the treasure chest now too that I can watch to get happiness. Yep. So, and the parades, I've been getting happiness. We haven't even talked about parades yet. I've been getting happiness almost every single time I run a parade. I don't get gems from parades, but I get happiness. I get a video to watch almost every single time I run a parade. So that helps my happiness stay up. I'm the bomb with happiness. Yeah. I'm always like, every time there's a happiness event, I'm like in the top, at least 20. And that's another thing. Events. There's really a lot of stuff that goes on in this game.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, we'll hit the events in a second, because there's still a couple things we need to talk. I'm actually playing right now, because my happiness is as we're speaking here is down to 65%. I'm on the highest tier. And I just bought the float to the.
Of course, you always buy the float.
Well, it's 50 gems.
Oh, I need to get on that.
But it's really cute, actually.
I'm telling. Is it? Well, yeah, actually, I saw it.
It's one of the nicer ones.
That's the other thing. The level of detail and almost, you could say, Imagineering that has gone into this game is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Is really, really cool, because some of the things. So Nick was talking about parades. So I'll jump in on that. So your parade, what's Disney? What's a fake Disney Magic Kingdom without a parade? I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So when you get yourself to the second happiness level, you are allowed to run parades. And as each group of characters is introduced, so like we said, the Fab Five is your first group of characters. So there is a parade float assigned to the Mickey and Friends group called Mickey and Friends. There's a Toy Story one. There's one for every group and event that has come out over the past 18 months. And you buy that when the event comes out, and then you run your parade. The parade costs magic.
Yep.
But then you get back in return either rare items, you can get gems, you get magic back, and there's a plethora of certain things, and it's totally random. Nick clearly has like the luck of he's got like a horseshoe behind his parade all the time, because he convinced me to run parades every day, because he was like, I get like 30 gems every time I run. I have 27 floats, and I put them all out every 6 hours, and I get 100 gems after every one. I did this religiously for like 2 months.
Hold on. There's only 5 floats. You can run a maximum of 6. I only run 5. The most I've ever gotten at one time is 10.
Oh my gosh! I can't get a single gem to drop from a parade. I just can't.
I've been doing okay.
Yeah, you have.
It's not every time, but it's definitely. When I first started, I was like, dude, he's kidding. He's got to be. No,
it's one of the pillars of the game for me is anytime I can run a parade, I run a parade, because one is it doesn't really cost me anything at this point.
No.
Yeah,
running a parade for 6,000 magic.
Yeah.
It doesn't even matter. So
and
I'm taking a chance on
awesome.
that to get the music is great. So I'm using that and you can get anywhere. It depends on the float, but you can get 3, 4, or 5 gems from a float. So
I never get gems.
Wow.
I always run floats that have 5 gems.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you also get bonuses. Actually, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you run a parade, then the ones that are run, you'll get bonuses, and actually it'll shorten some of the time of some of your tasks.
Oh.
So if you run the Toy Story float, some of your Toy Story tasks will be a shorter time. And I've noticed
that's I wondered that sometimes, because I'm like, I sent Buzz on a 24-hour thing just to get rid of him, and he's done already. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? Okay,
because
I got you.
Because you ran a parade.
Ah,
yeah.
Interesting.
So you run those parades, and you get a bonus for.
You just can't get rid of Buzz.
Well, I mean, if they're not collecting items for me, I send everybody away on a 24-hour task.
And I'm like, and I do that too. I'm like, okay, see you tomorrow. I do the same thing. Yeah. All right. So back to sort of a little bit of the basics. So we didn't talk too much about magic. You talked a little bit about magic and gems. Yeah. So magic or potions, there's little vials of magic potions, and you collect them from basically everywhere, from your character's tasks, from attractions and concessions, buildings and things like that. And a way you can get free magic is to go to visit the social, hit the little social button in the bottom left corner. If you're on a device, the bottom left corner, you hit the social button, and you can go to different little kingdoms. And I don't have any real friends. I guess you can visit real friends. I guess you can log in through Facebook. You can connect to this game on Facebook, and you can actually connect to real friends that you have on Facebook, and you can visit their kingdoms. I don't have any, so they have sort of faux ones. I know.
I take from Nick all the time.
You do?
Yeah.
Well, I use the faux people.
It only lets you take like 3 things, and then it's like, that's it, you're done.
3 things, yeah. But it used to be a lot less. Like the actual amount of magic that you could collect was minimal, like 20. And then they bumped it up. And so, and then it became worth it, to go and I don't remember how much it is now, but it became more. So you can do that, you have a time limit of how often you can do that, but I was doing that every time. So at the moment I have 8.2 million magic.
You're insane.
So, but I only have 360 gems, but but that's what I did. And so what I was doing is, there are these lulls, between events, and when there's really not anything going on, your characters aren't really doing much. You're not welcoming anybody. There's, you're sort of in this sort of dead zone. I was still going in and just collecting magic. And for a while, I wasn't leveling up anybody either because that costs magic. So for months, probably, I didn't really level. I got up to people up to like 5 or 6. And then I was like, and then you get to where, it's going to take 8 hours. It's going to take 12 hours, whatever, to level these people up. I'm like, well, or 16 hours, whatever. And I'm like, well, I'm like, I don't need to. So I wasn't spending that magic. I was collecting it.
Jeez.
And
you're
then,
like a hoarder.
And then I met you people.
Us people.
Us people.
And then I met you
Listen.
people. And I think it was Nick, because Nick's like the king of the level up too, right?
Oh, no, everybody's got to be on 10. They're all on 10.
I didn't know that. And
all
then,
men play on 10.
They were like, you were like, oh, you guys, you got to get everybody up to 10. And because you get gems for that. And I'm like, you what?
Yeah.
And so,
and
so I started leveling up. Yeah.
And sometimes
leveling.
It unlocks other tasks. I finally did.
Yeah.
I finally got like Jack and Sally, and just in between the last event and before the Aladdin one started, I was like, all right. I was like, they both need their 24-hour to level 10. Did both of them. And then all of a sudden, it unlocked like a couple days worth of tasks. Just for the nothing special. Didn't do anything else. The game didn't give me anything else. But I was like, all right, cool. It's another little storyline to click through. And I was like, all right, that's pretty awesome.
And I didn't realize that either. I was like, I figured that once I had gotten to the point where I welcomed somebody or I did something, that, well, they were pretty much done with what they were going to do anyway. I don't need to level them up anymore. I'll get to that. And then for the longest time I didn't. So, but I was just hoarding magic at that point anyway.
That's actually important when we start talking about the events, but that becomes really important at the events.
Yes.
Because that opens up those extra tasks that you need to do to get the final characters in the events. So that's another thing that I always like to do is always have a character, I call it cooking, in there cooking to the next level, because again, it's not costing me a lot in magic, and then I get the gems at the end. And so, free gems are free gems. So
that hardest one for me is the 24-hour one, because
that's tough.
That's increments. So the first level up is like 6 seconds, and that's it, basically instantaneous. And then the second level up is like 6 minutes. And then it goes like 35 minutes, and then it's like an hour, and then it's 2 hours, and then it's 4 hours.
Doubles itself. Yeah.
And then it's 16 hours. And then the last one, level 10, it takes 24 hours for your character to level up to their max level. Most of them are level 10. The pirates characters are still only level 6, I think.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that 24-hour, I have a block about that. Just having that person tied up and not being able to maybe level up somebody else, for 24 hours.
Yeah, that's a little ludicrous.
I still have some characters that I need to level up to 10. I know I just said that I was better about leveling up, but level 10 is still tricky for me.
Well, because it goes back to the time management stuff. So
yes,
we should probably get into the event part of it, because that's kind of what the game has turned into over the past, 6-8 months or so. These 3-week events that they do, where they bring in casts of new characters and stuff. So time management is strict during that. No, I was just gonna say, like Kathy was saying, with like 24 hours to level up a character, that's a big bulk of time in when you have these events going that you don't want to do that. So another type tip is, like, if you're in the middle of one of these, usually most of them are on average, they give you 24 days from start to finish to complete whatever tasks they have and gain all the characters. We'll get into that next, about the nuts and bolts of what they do with these events. And because they kind of all follow the same protocol now. It's just with themed
characters
tasks
and stories. Yeah.
Right. But it's all the basic same format now.
Yes.
Which I don't care for. The double boss battles. But
yeah.
So time management is when it really comes into play. Because like Kathy said, up till about level 5, everybody's easy. It's like 6 seconds, 36, an hour, 2 hours, 4, 6, 8. After 8, then, but after 8 hours, most are on level 8. And after that, it's just getting him to level 10 because you want him at level 10. For the events, you rarely have to have anybody past like level 5.
Yeah.
Right.
Usually.
Yeah, that's true.
So I'll let
Right.
one of you guys kind of talk about the events and what those are all about.
Let's
Yeah,
Nick,
well-
why don't you jump in?
Well, yeah, well, I wanted to ask you guys a question so for early on, I know a lot of people were creating sort of concession farms
Oh, yes.
to collect
Yeah, I did.
magic. I didn't really do that.
I did.
But did you do, because I mean, yeah, Kathy, you got like 9 million. So, so you did do that.
I did, and I really only just dismantled it a few months ago. I was, I held on to it for a long time, and then I needed the real estate, but I held on to it for a really long time, and it wasn't. And I had a burger farm, and the burger they had when they first did it. I forget how much the burger farms were putting out, but they had lowered it, and so the burger farm really became less profitable. Okay. So, and I had a lot. I think I had like 21 burger stands all in one spot.
Yeah. So for those who didn't understand what we meant by a concession farm, you take concession stands, you put them all in one area, and they just crank out magic for you, so you can really build up your magic fairly quickly. At some point, that becomes a problem in the sense that you're using up a lot of real estate that you could have other attractions in. So it's good on the one hand, but on the other hand, it eventually becomes a problem.
I finally gave it up because I didn't need it anymore because I had lots of magic. But the burger farm too, the burger farms give up magic every 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's only
like that.
It's only like 5 though.
It's only it is right. But before that, it was more.
I think it was 20 or something.
So yeah,
like that.
I was getting tons of magic from that burger farm when I first built it, and it was every 5 minutes, and it was like 20, and I was getting tons of magic from that, and that was one of the things that helped me really kind of boost the magic up.
Yep.
But so it was useful to me in the beginning, and I think for somebody that's just starting, a farm might still be useful, because you can sort of boost your magic up that way.
They're the cheapest thing to build to reap from, I guess.
I think the pretzel stands might be. I mean, I think they only put out every hour or something, so they're not as frequent.
Yeah, but they cost. The burger stands are $450. Pretzel stands are $2,000. And
so you got to have it to make it.
Pretzel stand is $35 every 2 hours, and the burger stand is 2 magic every 6 minutes.
Oh gosh!
It used to be 5.
So it was quite a bit more because I didn't have a gigantic burger farm, but I did have quite a bit of those, and as we'll get into, probably not this episode, when Merlin comes into play and you can use him as a character, you can sell a lot of your stuff back to him.
I sold all of them.
So did I. And I almost have the alien because of that. Selling all my stuff back to Merlin. Plus I wanted the room, like Kathy said. You need the room because some of the buildings are bigger and you can, there's stuff you can buy, attractions and buildings and other concession stands, but then there's also ones that you can be gifted in these wonderful treasure chests, and
those are big.
And they're big, and those are the ones you want because those are the classic attractions like the Tiki Room, the Hollywood Tower Hotel, Splash Mountain, things you can't purchase. So you have to be lucky to get. And when you get those, you want to put them out because what's a Magic Kingdom without classic attractions that you can see every day?
So. I think my Tiki Hut is where my burger farm used to be.
There you go.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like the way they have the quote unquote park set up, like the attractions don't necessarily fit very nicely in the grid.
No.
And so it's almost like putting a puzzle together sometimes.
And it drives people like myself with a touch of OCD absolutely bat crap crazy that everything can't be where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
I had stuff from Mulan, and when Aladdin first started, over by Space Mountain, I'm like, this is just it. Every time I opened up the game, I'm like, it's just not right. So when that piece of land finally opened up next to Big Thunder Mountain, and it was Frontierland. I was like, everything that belongs over there went over there. Lion King stuff and Toy Story stuff and everything went over. Then I moved stuff over into Tomorrowland. So now everything kind of is where it's supposed to be, somewhat, kind of, sort of. And it's getting better.
I still need to reorganize. But you guys know one of my favorite things is I have a little sort of red light district in my kingdom.
Yes, you do.
I have Tortuga Tavern and the Snuggly Duckling. And what was the other one? What's the other little bar that we have? I forget, but
there's Gaston's.
Gaston's, that's it.
And there's
so my characters can go, or my visitors, I guess, can have a little pub crawl right there.
If I lived in the game, that's where you would always find me.
It's my red light district, yeah.
So let's talk real quick. We mentioned the chests a few times. Once that's opened up, so the chests sort of they sort of pop up in not so random places throughout your kingdom. So I mean, I have a sort of pattern that I kind of go through to look for them.
Yep.
And I'm sure everybody else pretty much does the same thing. But in the chests, then there's up to again, I call it cooking, but there's 3 spots to kind of cook your chest.
Yeah.
Platforms, they're pedestals. Yeah.
So there's a special little, there's like a little building you can go in that way, or you can just touch the chest, and then you have 2, 4, 6, 7. You can store 7, and then you can sort of cook 3, up to 3. Now you got to open up 2 of those spots with gems. And and the third one is like 150 gems. So I haven't opened up the third one. I only run 2.
Me neither. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, same. I have all the storage spots open.
Same.
Yeah, I do too.
But I don't have the third sort of burner.
No.
Burner. It does look like a burner too. It's got the little rings on it.
Yeah.
So you can have those 7. You can have those 7 in the storage area. You can be running 3, and then you can have 4 out in your kingdom at any one time. But you'll never get more than 4. So if I see my thing at 4, I try to go grab a couple and put them in storage. But I don't necessarily have them all collected at the same time unless I have extra spots. Because sometimes when you're collecting from your characters or from your attractions, you can actually get a random chest from that.
Yep. And then if you'd forgotten to open the ones that were cooking and you don't have any space available in your storage, you're like,
you can swap them out. But if you have so there's different levels of chests. You get a bronze chest. It's like, what are you going to swap it out for? Another bronze one?
Exactly. So you just have to discard it. And then when you discard it, it leaves a little Mickey trail. You notice that?
There are cool little things like that in the game.
Yes.
So for the chest, you can get there's four levels. There's a bronze, a silver, a gold, and a platinum. Obviously, the rarer they are, the rarer the prize you get out of them. The bronze,
theoretically.
Yeah, theoretically.
All the benches that we used to get. Oh my
benches.
God. I had so many benches. I pretty much got the alien for free.
Yeah. For real.
I'm not joking, Kathy.
Yeah.
So the bronze ones take 3 hours, the silver ones 6, the gold 12, and the platinum 24. So again, this is one of those time management things. Like I've got 3 platinums sitting in my storage, and I just don't have the time to sit there and because I keep getting bronze and silver ones, and I just keep trying to run those through. Yep. I never have the time to just, run a platinum. It just.
Yeah, I have a platinum. I have a platinum right now too in storage. I have a platinum and a gold in storage. And yeah, same thing. It just, because it takes so much time, it's 24 hours to open that platinum chest that, I just keep running the bronze ones as they come up. Wow. So what's the current, in the platinum? What the heck is that?
Nothing good, because I've gotten.
Oh, Zootopia Racetrack. Did you get Zootopia Racetrack yet?
No.
See, I haven't gotten that yet.
I've had 3 platinums within the past month. And unlike you guys, I put them on right away just because I just get it done with. And then what I do is I just don't collect the ones that are in the kingdom because like Nick was saying, I feel I get so many from characters and hitting on the buildings, which is kind of annoying because then I never go around and collect what's in the kingdom except for the one that the train drops off because it's always right there in the beginning. And I don't know about you guys, but as the updates have gone, maybe it's just my particular random on the game, they are impossible to find. Like like Nick said, I go through the same spots that they usually have it. They're putting these things in my game in some of the oddest spots where
Yeah.
even if you're going really slow and you think you see the little rings emitting from the bottom of it or whatever, it takes me forever sometimes to find all four. So I don't even bother anyone. I'm like, all right, I'll get them from somewhere.
I'm convinced that sometimes the chest isn't there.
No.
And then it is there. You know what I mean? Because then it's like, wait a minute, I know I checked that spot. And then there's a chest there that was, like I have one chest. It's always that one chest.
Yep.
And you can't find. And I'm like, I've checked everywhere. And wait a minute, it's right here in the front? No. I don't mean like by the train station, but like in the meadow in the front,
Right.
it'll land there. And I'm like, wait a second, I know I looked there.
Yeah, no.
But I found a new spot where they're sticking it on, like there's a rock right next to Big Thunder Mountain.
Yes. I've had that.
What?
Multiple. And also to the far right of the new land that opened up, like in between those two pedestals. I always get one there. There's always one there, and that one's really pretty hidden, but.
All right.
So this
covers
chest.
the chest pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So events are probably, I think the events are kind of what keeps the game moving along more than anything else.
Yes.
Because it's a time limited thing that if you're playing this game and you're into this game, if you don't play the event, you're going to miss out on characters, and there may be characters obviously that you really like this last one. I love Aladdin. So you had Aladdin, Jasmine, Genie, Jafar, Iago, Carpet. I mean, it was a great set of characters, to work through. And there's a progress that you have to go through, and they lead you down that path pretty well. So you would start out with, I think we started out with Aladdin, and you could buy Abu, right?
Yep.
Yeah, was the gem character that you could buy. And so you start off with those two, and there's tasks that they have to run off and do. And then as you complete those tasks, then you start opening up the next character, which I think was Jasmine in this case. But you have to go through a certain progression, and things only open up at a certain time within the event. So as you get toward the end and you want to get Jafar, who's the final character in the event, then you have to battle Jafar. You have a certain amount of time to do that, and there's a bunch of tasks that go along with that. It can be difficult at times to actually finish it because you have to be on top of it all the time.
Yes.
Right.
I can attest to that because of all the events, the only one that I was able to get every character was the Lion King. All the other ones I am missing the end, either, which is usually the villain from whatever movie or story that they are. With the only exception being the Incredibles, because I think that was the first event they ever did. And I am missing Mr. Incredible as well as Syndrome, the boss, so to speak.
The boss, yeah.
And for all the other ones except for the Lion King, I was not able to get the boss character. So, which is kind of frustrating because I'm not sure when they're going to bring them back, how they're going to make them available again. And I was thinking about it the other day because as these events progress and you have to do these tasks in order, as Nick was saying, and you have to level the characters up as well to unlock other parts and to get the other characters. And then there's some sort of a battle at the end. And the first couple events weren't like this, where once you battled the boss and beat him, then he was unlocked and you were able to start collecting items and welcome him into your kingdom. Now what they've done is, because they were like, oh, I guess everybody's finishing these events, so let's make it harder. So you have to beat the boss, and then the boss goes away for a little bit, and you have to do some other stupid mundane tasks in between, like get 170 billion scarabs or tornadoes or or snow geese or whatever and anything else. And then the boss comes back and you must beat him again. Then you have the opportunity to welcome him after that. And as the events have gone along, welcoming the big boss character has become harder because the tokens are all either of rare, legendary, or epic status, which means They very rarely drop, and the
Right.
tasks are longer to get them, being 8, 12, 16-hour tasks. So it's
Yeah.
not
Right.
like you're doing
And you need a lot of
multiple-
them.
And you need a lot of them. So for those of you who have played the game, and then this kind of pertains to people who have been playing, my hope is if they bring these characters back, since the game is based and saved on your phone, like I have mine linked to Facebook, so if anything ever happened, my phone, I need to replace it or whatever, at least if I reinstall the game, I don't lose the whole mess because it's associated with my Facebook account. So
That's good.
I assume it would bring it back to where it was. I know it has worked for Tsum Tsum because I've gone through 3 phones since having this, and I've not lost my progress yet in that game. But as far as for this one, I'm hoping when they bring back these characters that anybody hasn't gotten, that if they don't bring them back in an all or nothing, either buying them with gems or real money fashion, if it comes back to a collecting tokens again, that you get to pick up where you left off. And you don't have to start from zero again. Because I was very, very close with Jafar on this last task. I didn't need that many more items, that was even more frustrating to me. And I even, on the last day, would use gems to speed up tasks to try to get it, and they just weren't falling for me. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's when you have the long tasks and, like what was it? It's the Jungle Book characters. This isn't an event, but, they're like Pete has a 24-hour task for Mowgli's stuff, and half the time it doesn't. I mean, you spend a whole day on this thing and you don't get the item.
Bagheera's even worse because all his tasks are 12 or 24 hours for Flynn and Rapunzel. Now they've added a couple of other characters to get some of the items, but even still, none of them are under 12 hours.
Yeah, I think you're right. I know they changed a couple of them and they added some, but they're still all really long.
They're still all long.
So there's a new one with
I think Buzz can do one.
Buzz and the alien can do one. Theirs is 8 hours.
Woody and Jesse.
Flynn right? No, that's not there anymore. Well, it might be on the other one. What am I looking at? I'm looking at the ear hat. So Flynn's is 12. Minnie's is 12.
Rapunzel's is 24, I believe.
There's no Rapunzel one.
No?
There's not for the ear hat. For the ear hat, it's Tinkerbell.
Are we talking about Bagheera?
Yeah, we're talking about Bagheera. So for the stick, Rapunzel's on the stick.
Yes, okay.
You're right, it was 24, but she's not even on there anymore.
No, she's not.
That one.
They have King Louie now, but I don't know.
On the ear. Yeah, he's on both.
And that's a 2-hour. King Louie is a 2-hour, but
but you have
500 gems.
Yeah, but you have to have them first.
Exactly. So that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all the others for this. Yes, all the others for the stick are 8 hours.
Right.
So for those, so they take a long time.
And they don't drop. And then so also for these events, as well as characters that introduce because of progression of the game, there are what they would call, like Kathy they were saying that King Louie is offered up. The new update that came out today, which is Wednesday the 20th.
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 They added more characters. So not like Nick was saying with Iago was made available immediately after you got Aladdin, but he was either a gem character or they do what's called a bundle. So you pay real money and you get the character and usually either event currency, which is a special to throw another, log onto the fire with it. Besides regular magic, you have to collect special tokens that are specific only to the event to either buy the buildings or level up your characters with. So there's another thing they've added in since the beginning of the game when we all started playing where it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe
it becomes
was.
Important.
The Incredibles, I think it was, but...
Yeah, but it becomes important, right? So a lot of times the building will have a task associated with it. So a character has to go to that building to do the task to get the token that you need to get the next character. So if you don't get the building during the event, you're stuck and you may not get that next character because you're missing out on the chance to get those tokens.
Right.
So they kind of lock you into this loop of having this extra currency out there that is... But again, and I know we all know this, the event currency at the end, whatever you have left over, every 2,000 of that event currency gets you a gem. So if you've got 80,000 left over, you can get up to 40 gems at the end the event just for nothing.
For nothing,
Yeah.
right. It's like a trade-in value. Kathy had mentioned that she's played this entire game without spending a dime. She's done everything with either buying gems or just not. If there was a character she didn't really want, she didn't spend the money. I, on the other hand, have not. I have not bought everything that has come across the table, but there were certain characters that came where either I knew I wasn't going to get them because of either just not being able to play because of, obviously, do have to work, do have a family that I have three children that I need to tend to.
Life? No.
So, I mean, if you ask my wife, I'm always staring at the thing playing the game anyway.
I know.
But
my family says the same thing.
Everybody has to work. I don't know what everybody does for a job, but I drive a truck, so it's kind of tough during the day for me to play the game. I get a coffee break and a lunch break, and that's kind of about all I can do during the day. So there's been certain characters that I just know and I've wanted, and I was like, you know what? For like Iago, I was like, whatever. It was like $3.99. I'm like, screw it. Jack Sparrow, I had to have him.
You had to have Jack Sparrow.
I didn't care.
Yeah, you absolutely had to have Jack Sparrow.
There was probably no price that I wouldn't have paid for him. No, that's not true.
He's $99.99, RJ.
Yeah, I know. So, but there are.
And then he didn't do much. He didn't really
None of them did anything much. It's very disappointing.
Pirates. I'm really disappointed in the Pirates.
So, and for this event, they just came. Now, the Jungle Book, they added all these new characters. King Louis, he was 500 gems. That's insane. I'm not paying 500 gems for any character. That's why I still don't have Boo, and I forget who else. And
Boo, Maximus. Maximus is like 450 gems. I don't have Maximus. I don't have Wally.
Flash.
So poor Eve just flies around.
Oh, Flash.
Yeah,
That's
Flash,
the other one I don't have. No,
I don't have Flash.
Wally I got as part of a bundle because I think it was like $6.99, and Maximus I got too. He was only $5. I know that. And it comes with gems. It comes with like 120 gems each time. So that's how I've built my gems up, because I don't watch the videos every day that you can and some of the other stuff. Just because, like I said, because of my circumstance with work, I don't have the time. That extra 30 seconds to watch the video, I need to assign people and things of that nature. So this King Louis thing, I will most likely drop the $10 because I want to speed up getting Big Thunder open, because that's my favorite attraction in Disney World, and I need it to be open. I'm tired of looking at those briar things all over it.
Before when an attraction like that is still in the curse, it's got this swirly black smoke and stuff around it, so you can't really get a good look at what it does.
That's what it's going to do.
It's just, you want to get that curse cleared as fast as you can. So I think if you want to play sort of my way without spending any money, one of the things that you have to do is prioritize. And for me, I don't have all the characters, and I'm living with the fact that I don't have all the characters. I'm fine with it. I don't have Merryweather. I don't have Boo. I don't have Maximus. I don't have Rex. So I don't have Flash. There are a lot of characters that I don't have, and I'm not going to have, and I'm okay with that. I also don't have a lot of, or several anyway, of the buildings. Some of the attractions and some of the concessions and some of the things that came along with some of the events. I'm just not going to have them. And that's okay. So I haven't had quite the space issue either as some people, because I don't have everything. I don't have to have everything. So my way of playing is I pick the stuff I really want. If I don't have a complete set, I'm okay with it. Lately during events, I have been using my gems to get the characters, especially the early ones like Abu, because I think you really do kind of need those gem characters to help you work through the event. It does help you collect things faster.
Yeah, it definitely
Absolutely.
does.
Yeah, so I have a minimal amount of gems. Minimal, I say that, I have 360 gems, but then, I buy a Boo for 150, and, then I'm back down to like 100, so it's, and then I'll try to build the gems back up again. And I do watch the videos. You can watch videos twice a day, usually right at the same time, and get 2 gems for that. And you guys and I were talking the last time, and I keep getting this ad. This, I forget what I even said. It's some wireless company where I can play a game where a guy is like flying through the air, collecting bananas. And I get a gem for that. And it comes all the time. I get this thing like several times a day.
Yeah.
I've actually built up my gems from just playing this crazy banana guy ad.
Well, good for you. I've never gotten that once. I've never gotten that once.
Maybe it's regional. I don't know, but Nick,
It
you
could
live
be.
near me. I don't know.
Unless
No.
I
there's
live in the same region.
I'm
Unless-
on Android too, so I don't know.
Oh, maybe that's it. Yeah, that's true.
Definitely
Okay.
different.
unless there's some setting within the game for no ads or something. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
So I'm very selective in how I spend my gems. Again, it's just then it's about prioritizing. And for me to not spend any actual money on it, you just have to. And I know that I've seen people that say, you know, well, I have to have everything. I have to complete every set. And when you complete a set of characters, you get gems for that.
You get a
when
big
you collect,
bonus. Big
Yeah.
bonus of gems.
Yeah, you do. You get like 12 gems or something. But of course, you know, you spent 250 gems to get one of those
Right.
characters.
No, I
so
know.
you get 12 back. But still, you do get the bonuses, you know, when you collect the entire set of characters. So that helps. That helps. You know, you can't be too obsessive about I have to have everything if you want to play it on the cheap, which is what I do.
Totally for free. Yeah.
Yes.
No, definitely. I mean, I'm not saying that I've bought this stuff because it's like I have money to piss away at the game. It's just,
Oh yeah, no.
to me, it's not that, because I've equated it to what I've spent on the game is probably how much money my kids spend when they buy one game for like their PS4. So I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm getting more
It's
than
not-
you're getting,
yeah.
and I'm going to play this forever. You guys play the game once, beat it, and then you're done with it. It's
Right.
$80 down the drain. I said, I'm getting daily enjoyment out of this for my $7.
Yeah.
You know,
I kinda look
And
at
it's
the same
usually
way,
pretty
RJ.
affordable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are generally, and I kind of look at it the same way you do, RJ. And I haven't bought a character or a bundle sort of in a while because I've been collecting the gems. You know, the early ones that I did buy, I kind of saved those up, and it's kind of been this sort of circle of feeding itself. And I've kind of come to a point where events will cost me somewhere between, I don't know, 400 and 500 gems to get the character and the float and
Yeah.
whatever
Right.
else. And so at that point, I kind of know, okay, I'm done with the gems for that event, and I kind of work myself back up. Like, so for Aladdin, I know I was down to like I want to say it was down to like 640, something like that. I'm back up to 1040.
holy crap.
Wow.
I was up, and I had more. I was up to 1090, and I just bought the 50 gem float. So
yeah,
I was almost up
yeah.
to 1100.
Wow.
And that's just working it's working the characters, it's working the parades, and it's watching the videos, the advertisements, just saving them up. The biggest thing is to not get caught up in using your gems for something that you can wait for.
Right.
Right.
And then
Yes.
being selective about the things that you do buy. Now, you know, with this King Louis thing and it being $10, I might jump on that.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I don't necessarily need to. That's the dilemma I'm going through at this point. I
Right.
don't
No,
need
you
to.
don't. Right. No, you
But-
don't.
You know, well, seeing how the tokens are, how the time it's going to take to collect those tokens, having King Louis is going to really be a big help with that. I think
Right.
that would be the motivation to get King Louis would be he's going to be a big help in getting the other characters and
Yeah,
getting.
I agree with you, Kathy, but this is not a timed event.
No,
No.
it's not.
So I have all the time in the world
yeah.
to
Right.
collect these tokens for these other characters. I don't
Yep.
I don't need him to get tokens so I can like progress through an event, for instance, right?
You're
So-
right about that.
Well,
Yeah, you're
not-
right about that. These
not
characters
now.
are forever.
Not now, but you never know. So now we're in the end of September. So I'm
Yeah.
assuming they will have
There's-
one more event before the end of the year, possibly two. I don't know, or maybe they won't have anything. So if they do have one other event before the end of the year, you never know what characters they're going to assign to drop the items. So, like, I know for the Zootopia event, and I think there was somebody else that Flash would come up if you had him to use to get events. I didn't spend the money for him. I didn't even like him as a character in the movie, so I sure as hell wasn't spending anything on him to get him in my arsenal of characters. But
I don't
Yeah.
know why he was 400. I don't know why he was 450 gems. That's just
yeah, it's
ridiculous.
ridiculous. Yeah, it was
But again,
ridiculous.
so for me, it was one of those things where I was at almost 1,500 gems. So I was like, well, all right.
Yeah.
I'll
Okay.
I'll
Because
go
you
ahead and-
can.
I'll go
Yeah.
ahead and splurge, right?
Right,
That's a third of my gems. But, you know, I guess I can do this. So, and, you know,
And then you
I
get
think
25
they're
back
doing
because you
that.
got all of them.
Yeah, right.
yeah.
I think they're doing that to sort of goose the purchases of the bundles and things, like you wouldn't Flash for 450 gems. Well, you did. Maybe let's say the rest of us wouldn't get Flash for 450 gems, but you might buy him in a bundle. You might see a bundle that's $6.99 and say, well, okay, that's worth it then. So I think, you wouldn't spend your gem. Isn't that funny? You don't want to spend your gems on that, but you'll spend your real money on it.
I was just going to say the same thing. I was like, the fake currency in the game that's next to impossible to get is more coveted than actual dollars.
That you worked for.
That you work for, yeah. So,
well, as far as events coming, I mean, you sort of touched on it, RJ, but last year, Halloween, we had the Nightmare Before Christmas event characters come in. And then for Christmas, we had Frozen.
Oh, that's
That's right.
What do they do? Halloween's a big thing. So you would almost think they'd come up with something. Now, I've said I wouldn't mind if they did an event that didn't necessarily introduce new characters, maybe continue the storyline of existing characters. If they wanted to do something with Nightmare Before Christmas again, allow people that didn't get to participate in the event last year to, maybe get those characters, and maybe for those of us that do have them, just have some new things to do with them, new tasks, maybe some new concessions and buildings, whatever. And I'm always big on, I have so many characters anyway. It takes me forever just to send them off to do things.
It does.
I'm fine with taking a break from introducing new characters for a while. So let's use some of these current characters that we have and maybe open up new lands with them, or just do some new things with the stuff that we have. I'd be fine with that.
I agree with you, Kathy. I have a lot of characters that do a whole lot of nothing. Because I cannot be bothered with, sending Jack Sparrow off on a 12-hour whatever task and getting a handful of magic for it. It's just not worth my time. And so, he and a whole bunch of other characters that don't drop any tokens don't get any work. They just kind of
wander around.
They just wander around doing whatever they do. And
I'll set those. I do the same thing now, Nick, because I have so much stuff. And what I'll do with those characters are, first thing in the morning, when I play it first time of the day, after I do everything I got to do in the morning, I'll send all those people off on a long task. And then when I play it last before I go to sleep at night, whoever's tasks have been done for the day, I'll send them all on another long one, and that's it. Like during the day, I don't mess with any one unless they're dropping a token, like you said, I don't touch them. I'll just, whichever ones can go on 12s and 24s, I send them, and that's it. And then I'll send them again in another 24.
I don't even bother, RJ, at this point. I got 2.5 million magic. I don't need them doing anything. So if they're not,
why I have 8 million magic?
Because
my people are always doing something. And
I only have
my tips.
I only have 2.5 million as well, so I don't know what I've been doing with all my magic.
But now I have more time. I'm a stay-at-home mama, so I have a little more time when my kids at school. But even so, as often as you check Twitter and Facebook and email, I check Twitter, Facebook, email, and I play my game. So whenever I pick up my phone to do whatever it is I'm going to do, I also check my game. And I do send the characters off. I'll send them on long tasks if I don't need them for a while. Some of them, their longest task, like Frozone's longest task is only 8 hours. Right. So it's not, some of them you can't send for too long. Even Jack Sparrow's longest task is only 6. Some of them you can't send as long as you might want to. But also the longer the task, the more magic you get for it. Now, shorter tasks are worth less, but if you have time where you can keep sending them on those 2-hour tasks, kind of if you can check every couple hours, then you actually get more magic that way than if you just send them on one long one. You know what I mean? It's less in the short run, but it's more in the long run. If you can.
So your point, Kathy, is that the magic per time is better on the short tasks than on the long tasks, right?
Yes.
So you actually get more for your time on the short task than you do on the long task. But,
right. I get more out of, if I have a 2-hour task and I do it twice, I get more magic than if I do a 4-hour task once.
Right. Right.
Yes, absolutely.
So I try to do that as much as I can too. And I do those intermediate tasks a lot because I will be able to check every few hours. So I'll just hit like a 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour, whatever task. And then sometimes like if I'm trying to collect, like right now, lamps I'm still leveling up Aladdin characters.
Yep.
So, and I always find myself short on these lamps.
Yep.
So I'm like 1 hour. I've got everybody going off collecting. I've got like 42 lamps right now. Yay me.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's how I do it. And that's also how I collect magic. Even like I was saying, when there are downtimes in the game, I'm still sending them off doing something. Even if I'm only checking every few hours or so, I'm still sending those people off to do stuff. And it can be a pain because there are so many of them now, like we were saying, that it does take some time to, I've got my kid going, Mom, come do that. I'm like, hold on. Tinkerbell's got to go,
Yeah.
Hold on. Only 6 more characters left. I'll be right there.
It's okay.
That's one of the reasons I don't bother with it because, if it's just the token characters, it takes me like 5 minutes to go through and do what I got to do, and then I hop off.
Yeah, you're right. It does. It definitely takes longer when you're driving. But then, I kind of know when you've done it enough, you know exactly what the tasks are and where they are and stuff. And you're like, okay, this one, this. So I can go through it sort of quickly, but it's still a bit of a pain. So yeah. So my advice for the developers would be, let's take a little break on welcoming new characters. Let's do something with the ones we have right now.
I'd be fine if they were able, like I said earlier about characters that I don't like. So now for the Nightmare Before Christmas crew, I don't have Oogie because I didn't get to beat him the second time. So I would be stoked if they did something where I was able to welcome him again, even if they just reintroduced the boss battle again or something along those lines, or some way that I can get him again, because I get it. You didn't get him in the timed event. So now it's been almost a full year.
Yep.
I'm tired of looking at him in the shadows of my thing when I scroll through and you click on him, it says coming soon. So act on the coming soon and put him,
and don't just
throw
him in a chest. Don't just do a legendary test.
They throw him in those legendary chests. It's like,
annoying.
Come on.
I never once bought and did any of those when they did that with the Incredibles and everyone else. Give him, let people just get them the regular
We want to
way.
earn them.
Yeah. I mean,
so let's have another chance to earn them.
Yeah. That's all I ask. Because there are people who are going to enjoy playing the game, but aren't going to, devote any free time they have as the 3 of us wackos do. So
yeah, we're on the other end of the spectrum. We're on the edge of the spectrum,
and that's why we're sitting here talking about it.
And that's why we're doing a podcast about it. That's right.
It takes a special kind of crazy. So well, just real quick, let's touch on how we sort of came together. I mean, we have a great group, a Twitter group that we hang with, that every time there's something going on, there's a new event, we're getting on the Twitter group and, hey, this is so great. Now, Nick, you're in a couple of groups that talk about the game.
I'm in two. And the other group is a little more crazy than we actually are, which is hard to believe.
Those people are the real deal.
Yeah, it seems like a couple of those folks are I don't know if they're flush with money or what, but they do seem to have an endless supply of gems, and they are 2-3 days ahead of me sometimes, and I'm pretty much on top of things, and a couple of times I'm waiting 2 days for Jasmine to even be available.
Oh, right.
Unlocked,
yeah. You've unlocked.
Yes,
you've got the task to welcome her, but she's not unlocked yet. Yeah, you've actually gotten to the point where you could get her if she was available.
If she's available, she's not available yet. So
where before, And
it seems like some of these people are, a day or two ahead of us. But wow. Yeah, I mean, when we started out, this group started out, we were all on Twitter basically, and we were all in the Disney sphere there, and we just I think we knew each other. I don't know. We knew each other through just different channels, through the podcasts and what have you. And we kind of put a hashtag together, and then we made sure we were telling each other through tweets and stuff. And then it just became, what, this is dumb. Let's just put a group together.
Right. Because it was at the time before Twitter stopped counting everybody's names in the character count.
Right.
That's right.
So we were just all tagging each other. It was like 7 of us or whatever, and we were all tagging each other in these tweets. And it was like you can't hardly even say anything.
You can't say anything, right?
In the tweet because there were so many people tagged in the tweet. So then, I think it was Sam that finally said, "We'll just do a group." So she made a DM group, a chat group, and so we've been doing that for a while.
Yep.
Right, and we've got some other folks who are part of our podcast, and some other people that are just people we know, and so it's a nice little group. We kind of keep each other aware, and when one person passes a checkpoint, they put a picture up, or they say, "Oh, hey, you got to do this, or you got to do that," or don't send them off on that task because it's not worth, and
right.
just it kind of keeps everybody informed and moving forward, and I think it's a great help.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
It's a nice little community.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I know there are Facebook groups for the game and stuff like that.
Oh
so
man, I'm sure there are.
Yeah. So if you're playing and you find, you want that sort of assistance, or you want that, even just somebody to chat about with it, I'm sure if you search Disney Magic Kingdoms on Facebook, especially, I know there are tons of groups so that you could probably get into, or, just hashtag it on Twitter and somebody will find you.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people playing.
Yep.
Yeah.
So. Yes, sir. All right. Well,
there are a million other things that we could talk about, and we probably will. I have a feeling we'll do some more episodes in the future. This was fun.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so we had talked about this a few weeks ago while the Aladdin event was still going on, and we had decided that let's let the event finish, and this way we can kind of start when something isn't in the middle of it, mainly because we all wanted to concentrate on the event, but then it made more sense to start and explain the beginnings of the game and the events when one isn't going on and you're trying to backpedal and get ahead of ourselves and so on and so forth. So now, I think we definitely have laid out the basics and some other stuff beyond the basics and some of our skills and some of our strategies. So I think that's a good start. And I know we're all anticipating another event or two for these last couple months of the year. So I think we'll base our next episode on what we hear as far as that goes and what event is going to come out next. I mean, the Jungle Book stuff, like Nick said, is not technically an event because it's not timed. So you can take as long as you want to get these characters and level them up. I'm sure the biggest thing that's going to come out of this, to my guess, is, like we said, Big Thunder Mountain will be opened up, maybe some more of that land in that Frontierland type section, it seems like, in that Jungle Book area. So it seems like we'll get more land opened up, which would be awesome. And, as far as new events and what new movies and characters are going to come, I can't even speculate anything.
No.
I really can't think of anything else, because judging with what's left in the game to open up, it doesn't seem like there's that much, because it's just whatever's over to the left side of the kingdom and a little bit behind Small World, but there's not much back there. It's just land. There's not another, there's some stuff that looks, there's another little house back there, which could possibly be Snow White's cottage. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know where they're going.
Off of Frontierland back there, I think it's it's on that side. If you kind of peek back there's a pirate ship back there.
Yeah, there is.
Yes, there is.
Yep.
I'm thinking, and we only have Tinkerbell right now.
Well, Peter Pan would make
from
sense.
The Peter Pan group, yeah.
Yep.
And I know in Disneyland they do have, or they used to have, Captain Hook's pirate ship out there. I think now it's over in Tokyo. But so the game is based not solely on Walt Disney World in Florida. It's kind of a mix of attractions from both parks, U.S. based parks. So
yes,
it does have a mix of both of those. Even though the castle is Cinderella Castle, but it has the Fun Wheel and other sorts of things from
California Screamin'.
Right,
California Adventure.
from
and the Small World is the Disneyland.
Yes.
The exterior.
That's correct.
Q whatever Disneyland. Yeah.
Yep. So.
All right. So I guess if anybody who's listened has any questions, anything they'd like to ask, or any tips they'd like to, ask of us directly, I'm reachable on Twitter. You can always find me I'm at KathyK671 on Twitter. So definitely give me a shout. I'll do what I can.
Yeah, absolutely. And same goes for me. You can find me on Twitter at I'm at Black Pearl 454. So same thing, tips, tricks, or just want to chat about the game. We're out there.
Yep.
Yeah. And, same for me. I can be found on Twitter at DadOnDisney. And, just drop us a line or, tweet us directly, drop us a direct message or whatever. And we'll be more than happy to help you out however we can. Just to kind of reiterate what we said at the beginning of the show. Kathy is the Mouse Life podcast. RJ is Diz Explorers. And did I mess that up, Kathy?
No, you got it.
Oh, okay.
Mouse Life, yes.
I heard,
No, I
heard
said
something
yes.
in the background. I was like, did I mess something
No,
up?
I said yes. Mouse Life podcast. Mouse Life.
Mouse Life,
yeah.
Mouse Life podcast. RJ is Diz Explorers, and I'm Tom Morrow's Mouse. And so, guess that's it for this one. Thanks a lot, guys. And look, we'll be sending this out on all 3 of those channels, so all of our listeners will get a chance to hear us.
Most definitely.
Thanks for listening.
Yes, thanks for listening. Happy gaming,
and have fun
everybody.
playing. Yeah.
Yes.